When having too much money goes completely wrong. So let's watch the video.
Here are a few of the worst cases of what could happen when someone has too much money. Number 6, kiss and tell. When you're not rich or famous, you don't have to worry about people publicly bragging about spending the night with you. Well, you might, depending on the circumstance. Even then, you probably don't have to worry about the entire world finding out who you were with. Take the case of Sabrina Dudish. Sabrina met NFL wide receiver Julian Edelman at a Boston club in 2015. He was celebrating his Super Bowl win, and she was there to hook up or possibly fangirl over Jules. Either way, the following morning, she posted a picture of the two in bed. Jules, however, was fast asleep. She used this picture on her Tinder profile to brag about her feat. It was screenshotted tons of times and ended up circulating the wider internet. The club they met at found out and ended up banning her for life. She would eventually be banned from nearly every other club in Boston as well.
Good.
The club owner posted a massive rant on Facebook, telling her that he didn't even want her in the city anymore. Of course, he doesn't have the power to ban her from the city of Boston. In an interview with TMZ, she apologized for the whole thing and said she regretted it. Over in the NHL, Czech superstar Jaromír Jágr spent an evening with an 18-year-old model. Like Dudish, the model took a secret picture of Jágr. This time, she used it as blackmail. She threatened to post the picture unless he paid her $2,000. However, the young scammer overestimated how much Jágr cared. He was a single guy who didn't care whatsoever. He said, "I don't care," and walked out. Number 5.
You might as well not scam the man if you asking only $2,000.
There are also less dramatic perils that come with wealth. Lawsuits are one such danger. When everyone knows you have money to spare, you're much more likely to end up getting sued. After taking a picture where she slanted her eyes and squinted at the camera, Miley Cyrus ended up being sued for an amount that could have potentially added up to $4 billion. According to court documents, Lucy J. Kim brought the suit against the pop star, claiming to represent over 1 million people of Asian descent in the LA area. Kim argued that she and others were victims of Miley's offensive actions. Miley responded by saying that she was just making a goofy face and wasn't trying to be racist. The $4 billion number comes from Kim's specific claim. She argued that every Asian Pacific Islander in LA County, about 1 million people, is entitled to at least $4,000 from Miley. So in total, it would be $4 billion. Maybe Miley's face wasn't in good taste here, but one has to ask, what is worth $4 billion? An even more ridiculous lawsuit was filed against Michael Jordan back in 2006. Alan Heckert sued MJ, claiming that he was tired of people thinking that he looked just like him. The man was clearly mistaken, and so were the people that thought he was MJ. While you could make a slim, and we mean very slim case, that he looks like the NBA legend, no judge would ever go along with it. Still, Heckert sued for millions, and it was a real lawsuit as well. He paid the $206 filing fee, even though he didn't have a lawyer. It's unlikely that he could have found someone to go along with this level of crazy pro bono. He ultimately dropped the suit, but at least he got his 15 minutes, right? Number 4.
People sue over anything.
When you're filthy rich, you get to find out who your real friends are. The super wealthy have to try and figure out who's trying to help them and who's trying to scam them. And there are countless stories of rich people getting ripped off by
people
broke,
just say that.
You trust. Billy Joel made the unfortunate mistake of hiring Frank Weber, his former brother-in-law, as his financial manager. The two had been relatively close, and Frank was even the godfather of Joel's daughter, Alexa. So he thought that signing away total managerial control of his finances to Frank would be a good idea. Who better to trust than family, right? Joel ended up suing him for $90 million after discovering that he was spending his money without his permission. Among many allegations in the 83-page lawsuit was the claim that Frank took $10 million and invested it in his own company. Not exactly known for his sound judgments, Dennis Rodman was also scammed by someone he put in charge of his money. Peggy Ann Fulford, his manager, was revealed to be overseeing 85 bank accounts and moving money around all of them to hide how much she was stealing from him and her other clients. Peggy told Rodman that she went to Harvard and had made millions on Wall Street,
like white chicks.
neither of which was true. She was also running 20 shell corporations in different states to help her launder Rodman's money. This is only scratching the surface of Peggy Fulford's celebrity athlete scam. Check out this video to learn the full story. Number 3. Gold diggers and athletes. The world's wealthy people also deal with a particular kind of scammer, the gold digger. If you make $30,000 a year, gold diggers are one problem you won't have to worry about. Last year, NBA player P.J. Washington became the latest victim of notorious gold digger, Brittany Renner. She had a very public breakup with Washington that attracted social media attention. Britney, a fitness model, has dated James Harden, Drake, Lil Uzi Vert, Jamal Murray, Ben Simmons, Trey Songz, Chris Brown, and Colin Kaepernick. A dating policy that involves only going after millionaire athletes and artists is a good indication that someone may be a gold digger. The two broke up just a few months after Britney got pregnant. Having a baby for the primary reason of collecting child support is a classic gold digger strategy. Fans theorize that Britney only dated the NBA player for this exact reason. Britney even wrote a book called Judge This Cover that detailed her past gold-digging experiences long before getting together with Washington. Washington tweeted, quote, "You was faking it all along." Even though the tweet was directed at nobody and deleted soon after, everybody got the message. These 6 words were all it took to make the official gold digger accusation. Unfortunately for Washington, the internet didn't have much sympathy for him. NBA fans didn't seem to be sorry for him at all and instead roasted him relentlessly on the internet. Twitter told Washington that he should get ready to start paying child support for the next 20 years. If Washington ever reaches the point where he can't handle this sort of Twitter trolling, he'll have to dry his tears with the money from his lucrative NBA contract. Number 2.
I've been living under a rock when it comes to these people. I don't care about them.
One of the potential downsides of being rich is an increased chance that your kids will grow up spoiled. Kids who grow up never being told no and never having to sacrifice anything can end up with some pretty insufferable personalities, to put it mildly. If you're too rich, your kid could end up like Navid Soul if you're not careful. Navid is an aspiring rapper who, like many aspiring rappers these days, is focused more on fashion than on rapping. He's known for his affinity for high fashion. He wears Versace everywhere, sleeps on Versace sheets, and even eats off of Versace plates. Yes, Versace sells plates. The cheapest ones are $90, and they look like some weird china that your grandma has in a drawer somewhere. Money can't buy taste, unfortunately. When Navid isn't shopping for Versace or pretending to be a rapper,
That's
he's following
tacky.
celebrities. Instead of waiting for artists to perform near him, he has enough money to fly to wherever they happen to be hosting a concert. He always buys the most expensive, most exclusive tickets possible so that he can meet whoever it is. This is why there are so many pictures of him with various celebrities. A documentary show featuring Navid revealed that he didn't know what a colander was. He's never drained water from a pot after cooking something, which means he's never made spaghetti. Having a son this out of touch should be considered a wealth-induced problem. The same documentary also featured Fergus Prutton, another rich kid who was baffled to discover that some people live off of less than £2,000 a month. He said he typically spends that much on a night out. A typical day for Fergus includes waking up in the afternoon, playing Xbox all day, and then partying all night. He's technically self-employed. Apparently, spending your rich parents' money is considered a job these days. Both Fergus and Navid got a dose of reality when they appeared on a UK reality show called Rich Kids Turn Skin. And you thought the US had stupid reality shows. In the show, rich kids like Navid and Fergus live with impoverished families for a few days. In Fergus's case, he spent the weekend with a single mother of 4 who lives on £1,000 per month. For reference, Fergus sports a £6,000 Rolex. On the other hand, Navid spent some time with a family in West London who lived on £50 per week for food. Navid would probably spend that much on Versace toothpaste, which is thankfully not a thing yet. Number 1. The perfect targets. When you're rich and famous, you have to worry about something that most people probably don't: being kidnapped. Criminals know that rich people are the best targets for kidnapping because they can get a big ransom. It's not just as profitable to kidnap someone who works at McDonald's, unless it's out of revenge because they were lying about the ice cream machine again. Actor Benedict Cumberbatch had an extensive experience in South Africa while filming the BBC miniseries To the Ends of the Earth. On a day off from shooting, he and some of his co-stars went scuba diving. One of their tires blew out on the way, and they were stranded on the side of the road. While they were stuck, they got ambushed by people with weapons. They tied Cumberbatch up and put him in the trunk of a car. Then they drove into town, used their cards to steal a bunch of money from an ATM, and then just left them there. It's not just rich people who make good kidnapping targets. It's their kids, too. Perhaps the most famous celebrity child kidnapping case was in 1963, when Frank Sinatra Jr. was kidnapped. The kidnappers drove him to a house in Los Angeles where they locked him up for 4 days. They demanded that his father, Frank Sinatra, pay them $240,000, and it worked. They got their money from Papa Sinatra. However, they didn't have much time to spend it. Police arrested them after releasing Sinatra Jr. Their court case was a huge media sensation since Frank Sinatra was the biggest celebrity in the country. Click to watch one of these next videos.
Money is the root of all evil. And also, just because it's a name brand don't mean it look good. That little boy, he looked tacky as hell. I'm sorry. Them outfits was not busting at all. Like, just because it's a name brand don't mean it's the shit. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you on my next reaction video. Bye.